This video is going to go over how to pick a filter to use on your Instagram feed. So why is this something that you should be spending your time on? So keep in mind that Instagram is foremost a very visual platform. Within a matter of seconds, when someone comes to your feed, they're going to decide whether they want to follow you or not. You should be taking advantage of that opportunity and maximizing the visual capabilities of your feed. One of the easiest ways to make your Instagram feed look professional and cohesive is to apply the same filter to every single photo you post. In this video, I'm going to go over the method that I developed for myself to figure out which filter feels right for me. I'm sure there's a bunch of different ways to go about doing this, but this is the method that I personally developed for myself to wade through all the different filters that are available out there to figure out the single one that I want to use currently. So let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to go through a step-by-step guide to take you from either no filter or a filter that you're not happy with to a filter that you feel fits your personality and your Instagram feed much better. So this is going to be an 8-step process, and we're going to go through it together step by step. Okay, so step number 1 is we need to download 2 apps. The first one we're going to download is called A Color Story. And this is what it looks like right here. So go ahead and download it if you don't have it already. For the second app, you actually have 2 different options. What we're going to be using is a feed organizer, which allows you to look at your Instagram feed, both what's posted already and also what you are wanting to post in the future, so you can kind of see how things work together in a safe environment. So I use an app called Preview. Another one is called Planoly. So I'm going to download or bring up Preview here. But if you already use Planoly or you just prefer that for some reason, feel free to use that too. So here's Preview here. So go ahead and download that if you don't have one already. So step 2, you need to collect some photos that you're going to use to put together a fake feed that you're going to then apply filters to. Preferably these are photos that, number 1, are not filtered already, or if they are, you kind of want a mishmash of filters. Number 2, they should be a good representation of what you currently post or what you plan to post in the future. In other words, if these photos are things that you would never put on your Instagram feed, don't use them in this process, because they're not going to be something that you should be using to judge what filter is best for you. Number 3, I want you to get at least 9, but preferably 15. And the reason why is when you look at the screen here, you can see it's 3 across and 5 down. So that's 15 photos total. So preferably if you can get 15 photos to work with, it's going to fill up the entire screen and it's going to look a lot better. It's just going to give you a better idea of what filter works best for you. At the bare minimum, get at least 9 though, so you can at least see a square of photos. Step 3, you're going to get a piece of paper and a pen. And what we're going to do is write down which filters we like, and then we can kind of refer back and it'll help guide us in the process. Step 4, you're going to upload all of your pictures to Preview. So take a moment and upload however many you were able to collect and upload them into Preview. So to upload, you click the little plus sign in the upper right hand corner and then click on Library. I'm not going to do that here because I have some client photos on here and confidentiality rules. So but go ahead and get all your pictures in here. Once you get all your pictures in Preview, then what we're going to do is take a screenshot. In case you don't know how to do that, and once again I'm on an iPhone here, you press the circle at the bottom of the phone and the button on the right at the same time, and that takes the screenshot and it saves it to your photo album. So then what we're going to do is go over to your photo album. If you're fast enough you can catch it and edit it right away, but I was not. So, and then we're going to crop it. All I want to do is get rid of the stuff at the top. The reason why I want to get rid of the information at the top is that when I apply the filters, I want the filter to just be applied to the pictures. I don't really want to be seeing like the words and the black and white and all that, so I just kind of want to not be distracted by anything at the top. Step number 5, we're going to start testing out the filters. So let's head back over to a color story. And we are going to pull up our screenshot. So when we test out the filters, in this circumstance, all we're going to do is literally just apply filters. So we're not going to change the intensity of the filters, we're not going to change any other settings on here. So just filters and that's it. So I'm going to hit the continue button, I'm going to go straight to filters. When you do this, I want you to go through every single filter that's available here because you might be surprised by what you end up liking and not liking. As you go through the list, you're going to write down every single one you like. Even if you vaguely like it, go ahead and write it down. What we're going to do at the end of going through the list is go back and weed out the ones that we don't like. So we're going to start with essentials. So go ahead and click on that filter category and get your pen and your piece of paper ready. And as you go through each one, just write them down. So pop. So it's a little bit bright on this setting, but if you turned it down, that's something that it'd be a little bit more acceptable on a lower level. So, but I'm just going to write it down because I vaguely like it. Every day is a little bit dark for me. Hot toddy, definitely not for me. Peach tea, no. Sharp, no. Light bright, I do like that one, so I'm going to write that down. Classic black. So classic black is not something that I want to use for my account, but I have definitely seen some accounts that do really cool things with this. And sometimes they'll add in like touches of color, whatever their color theme is. But the black and white is definitely a commitment though. So if you pick this one, just know that you're committing to it. Ice Ice, that one's okay too. Okay, let's move on to Good Vibes. Disco Ball, that's okay. Ginger Tea. It's a little bit darker. I don't know, maybe. Okay, Palm Springs. I think that's a little bit darker than I like. Magic Hour, no. Mimosa, yeah. And Pop Song, I like that too. Okay, let's click on Mood. So Mood is a paid one, whereas Essentials and Good Vibes came free with the app. I kind of found once I started playing around with it that it doesn't work for me. I have used it on other people's accounts and it's actually looked quite good on their pictures, but this is why it depends on what type of pictures you're taking. So I have like a lot of green in my pictures and I just feel like it doesn't really work well. The filters in this one don't really work well for me, but it has worked nicely on other people's accounts though, some of the different filters in here. Like that one, for instance, that one definitely takes away almost all the green, and that for the type of pictures I'm taking, which have a lot of green in it because I work outside, you know, that just doesn't kind of really work for what I want to portray. I found in general this is a moodier type of set of fonts, so if you want to portray a moodier feel to your account, this might be a good set. Okay, let's move on to Airy. This is the one that I'm using the most right now. So Snow Cone. So I use Snow Cone pretty frequently. I don't use it on the full setting like this, but I kind of do it more down there, but I know I like that one. Clear. That's okay. Refresh. No. Pool party. That's okay too. Party. Sunset. Say sunrise, I like better. Feather. No. Picnic. I like that one. And road trip. I'm going to say no. Okay, so those are all the filters I have available on my account. And you can see down here, you can buy all kinds of other ones. But I don't have those, so. If you don't know where to start though, just start with the free ones and go from there. And the more you play around with it, the more you'll find that you'll probably want to go ahead and start getting paid filters after that. So certainly you can just start with the basics though. So step 6, look at your list. If you have a lot on here, you're going to want to narrow it down. I personally get overwhelmed by picking between more than like 3. So when it comes to like really looking at them, I want to get it down to like maybe about 3 to look at. So let's look at our list again and try to narrow down some of the filters and try to get it to a more workable list here. So when I'm going back through the list, I'm just trying to number 1, cross off ones that I just don't really like compared to the ones maybe next to it in the list. But then you can flip back and forth between the ones that are on the list next to each other and start trying to decipher which one do you really like more than another. So let's go back to pop. Okay, so that one's pop. So our next one on the list is light bright. I like light bright better. So I'm just going to go ahead and put a tally next to that. So then we have ice ice. I like light bright better than that one. Then we have disco ball, which is there. So let's look at that one compared to light bright. No, I like light bright better. Okay, so ginger tea, same, I still like light bright. Okay, mimosa. Here, let's just compare mimosa and pop song since those guys are right next to each other. So those are very different ones. And this is the point at which I kind of start playing with the intensity levels. So let's turn that one down. So I like that one better when it's turned down. Mimosa is like a little bit more of a dull one. I like pop song better. So let's do pop song. And then let's skip over to snow cone. See, I already know that I like snow cone, so I'm kind of cheating here. So when you turn it down to that level, that's the level that I use it at. So I'm going to put snow cone, clear, I'm still going to say snow cone on that one. Pool party, no. Let's say sunrise. Let's go ahead and compare sunrise versus picnic. These two are very similar. This is when it starts getting hard. I think I like picnic better. Okay, and then let's see if we can get it down to maybe 3 on our list. So let's go back at the very beginning, look at light bright versus pop song. So pop song's a very bright one. And even when you turn it down, it's a little bit darker than I've been moving towards on my account recently. So I'm going to go ahead and cross that one off. So we have 3 that are left right now. Let's go ahead and work with those 3. So we've got 1 light Bright, 2 Snow Cone, and 3 Picnic. And I want you to write these down in order, because when you go to save these, it's very easy to forget which order you've saved these in. So make sure you save these in that exact same order. So let's do Light Bright first. We're just going to go ahead and put it on at the full intensity. Hit Review, and then hit Just Save. So we did Light Bright. Hit Return to Editing and just hit the Undo button. And then we're going to go to Snow Cone and do the same thing. Review, Just Save. Return to Editing, Undo. And then Picnic is our final one. Review, Just Save. Okay, so now let's go over to our photos. So now we're over in the photo album, and this is our before image. So there's no filters applied, or at least not the same filter applied to every single image here. We'll go to our next one. That one is Light Bright. Then we have Snow Cone, and then Picnic. So I like to just kind of take it one by one. So there's our before. So Light Bright versus Snow Cone. And I'm going to do a lot of back and forth. Okay, so this is kind of a hard one. I think the main difference between these two for me is that Light Bright, the blacks are more intense, and with my feed I tend to lean towards kind of a light and airier feed, so I think I'm going to eliminate Light Bright. So let's go ahead and delete that one. So that leaves us between Snow Cone and Picnic. So there's Picnic and Snow Cone. And for me, I definitely like Picnic better. So Picnic is our final one. So I'm going to delete this one. And I think this is interesting because Picnic has not at all been on my radar as a filter. And I've been playing around with filters for probably almost a year now, and you kind of get set on your one filter, but the thing is you will also probably change what filters you like after a while. Sometimes you just get bored, but I think I'll probably bring this one into my rotation now that I've gone through this and seen that there's another filter that I kind of like. So another thing is that sometimes, even though I say to use the same filter on every single photo, sometimes that filter still does not look right on an individual photo. So I do keep backup options. So I have a favorites folder here, and I have several different options that I keep on hand. So every now and then I'll use Snow Cone to kind of significantly lighten a picture. And then what I do is I will go over and test it out in the feed right here. So this is how I figure out before I post an image whether it matches my feed or not. Even if I'm using the same filter, sometimes it still doesn't look right. It's too light or too dark, or there's still something wrong with it, or with my picture of my dog Lily here, it just does not match my feed at all, and I might just choose not to use it at all. And it seems like a rather tedious way to do things, but once you start doing it and getting into the habit of doing it, it actually becomes very fast. Okay, so now you have the filter that you're going to use. Now you need to not forget to apply it to every single photo that you use. This is really important. Also keep in mind, it's going to take a while to see the effects on your feed. So just stick with it. It's going to make an effect after a while. If you like this training video and you want to keep learning more, feel free to join my email list. If you go to my website, thebusinessvet.com, and click on the resources tab, You can get on my email list and be the first one to hear about things. You can also find me on social media on Instagram and Facebook at The Business Fit, and also on YouTube if you search for The Business Fit. Thanks for joining me, and I hope this was useful for you.